I'm going to do it as a balanced beer, something that's drinkable. He says it's going to taste like pumpkin pie in a bottle. I am so excited. Why? It's August 2nd, 2024, and today at 80 degrees headed to 90, we are launching Pumpkinhead in Portland, Maine. Can you believe it? It was a guy on the West Coast called Bill Owens. Buffalo Bill created Alimony Ale and other beers, but he had a pumpkin ale, and we became friends. And he told me, you ought to brew this on the East Coast. Long story short, he actually gave me a tap handle and said, you know, you're more than welcome to do it. I got back and talked to Alan Pugsley, our master brewer and partner, about brewing a pumpkin beer, and he says, I am not brewing a flavored beer. It's not happening. Towards the end of the summer, and I kind of worked on him, and he had some summer beers that we were doing there at the pub, and he says, all right, if I'm going to do it as a balanced beer, something that's drinkable. He says it's going to taste like pumpkin pie in a bottle. He worked with Mike Haley, and they created what is, and at that point, pretty close to the same exact recipe as Pumpkinhead Ale. And I worked with Kenny Hendrickson, our artist, came up with the logo with a pumpkin head, and the name came from my football coach. He was a big part of it because we used to call him Pumpkinhead, not to his face, behind his back. Any guys that went to our high school back in the 70s and 80s, and you talked about Pumpkinhead, they knew exactly who you were talking about. Yeah, I think he took it as a compliment in a strange way. From people demanding us to put it in bottle almost, we actually put it in bottle, much to Bruce Forsley, Dave DuBois, Alan Pugsley's chagrin. It's like, we don't need a flavored beer. Most breweries only had one beer. You know, Gary's had Gary's Pale Ale, and then they did Hampshire Ale, and Sam Adams just had the lager. And we were coming out with different beers because we had the brew pub, and then we would package it, which was a little unique at the time. One of the hugely unique things about Pumpkinhead is the cinnamon rim that was invented in Boston, not Maine, which is kind of funny. We don't know who it was, whether it was a girl, a guy, or whoever, but I'd love to find them and give them a big hug. I'm sure people would argue about who did it first, but it took off in Massachusetts, and now we produce thousands of little rimmer jars that we sell in the stores and also to the pubs, so they can have it all. And there's not many beers that have kind of had a consumer-driven and pub-driven creation that really made the beer spark. It's probably one of the biggest pumpkin beers in the country. We've had some local Portland brewers try to knock us off and use the same logo and kind of slam us on Facebook. They know how I feel about it. I called them out on it. They still said, we're still going to do it. Oh, we're sorry. Yeah, right. Anyways, they come out with a vodka. Good luck there. That was not the spirit of our industry in the early days. We respected each other. We kind of let people, you know, have their own lane. There are people, you know, you do compete. There are other big guys that have competed. And everybody does their version. But at the end of the day, we love Pumpkinhead, and we hope you do too. Cheers.